It is so great to be here. I want to thank Amira and the good folks at the Solana Foundation for inviting Greenpeace to take some space on the main stage to talk about the work we're doing in this area. And I want to thank all of you for taking time out of this week's schedule to come hear me out. On Monday, I was on the boat from Amsterdam to the campus, bathing in the purple light and overhearing conversations about Web3, projects people were working on. And everyone was using a lot of words that were familiar to me, but putting them together in combinations that felt very foreign and different. Then we stepped off the boat, and I came to the venue and entered a parallel universe where a lot of things are the same, but again, just a little bit different. So I started to ask myself, what am I doing here? What have I gotten myself into? Then fast forward to Tuesday, and I was sitting out here in the audience where you're all sitting now and listening to the kickoff presentations, and something clicked. Something was instantly recognizable to me. I looked around the room, and I saw a lot of people who were passionate about envisioning a better world, about doing things differently. As a climate campaigner, I recognize that very well. I come from activist spaces where what gets me up in the morning is making a difference and envisioning a different world. As a climate campaigner, my approach to building a different world is to focus on, to encourage and compel people in power to reduce carbon emissions and to affect positive change in the climate crisis. So it seems like maybe we don't, what am I doing at a Solana conference? But I noticed that there's a lot of shared values between our communities, and that's really important. My work on the climate, currently I'm at Greenpeace, and this climate work fits into Greenpeace's mission to ensure a just, joyful planet for life in all its forms. The blockchain has already had an important and enormous impact on the world, and that's not going to change. But I think we're at an important crossroads as Web3 enthusiasts. We get to choose, is blockchain's impact on the world going to be a net positive? Is it going to drive a green, just, and joyful planet for all? Or is it going to be a net negative? One of the blockchain technologies that has emerged as potentially being a net negative that's already impacting the climate is Bitcoin. And I know it's strange that I'm on the stage at a Solana conference talking about Bitcoin. I get that they're different technologies, they operate differently. But what we all have in common is that we share this planet. And so I could take this conversation to a Bitcoin conference, but I'd be booed off stage. They'd throw tomatoes at me. And we know this because we launched a campaign last year to address the climate impacts of Bitcoin, and we were immediately met with an antagonistic campaign of disinformation. So let's focus on the facts. Today, the Bitcoin network consumes as much energy as the Netherlands, produces as much carbon emissions as the Netherlands. That's today, and I want to put a flag in that because we'll come back to that important distinction. But just take a moment to let that sink in. All the lights that are illuminating me on stage, all the energy that's powering the amplifiers that are carrying my voice to your ears, the energy that went into preparing the food you're eating this week, propelling the tram from Amsterdam to campus, powering all the lights in the hotels and buildings along the way, all of that to power one chain today. When we launched this campaign, there was a lot of misunderstanding about what we're trying to accomplish. So I want to take a moment to address some of the mischaracterizations about what our campaign is and is not. First of all, we are not campaigning to change the Bitcoin of today. At Bitcoin's current value, it consumes as much electricity as the Netherlands. But what we're really concerned about is what happens when Bitcoin's value continues to grow. At $200,000 or $500,000, miners would be incentivized to turn on every coal plant in Central Asia. That's what concerns me as a climate campaigner. In the same vein, we are not campaigning to transition Bitcoin to renewable energy. Again, renewable energy just couldn't meet the demand for a Bitcoin that continues to grow. Third, we're not campaigning to ban cryptocurrency. As a climate campaigner, I'm agnostic on the technology. What concerns me is carbon emissions, and at the moment, the Bitcoin chain is producing a lot of carbon. Third, we're not campaigning to support or enforce the current financial system. This is a straw man argument and a false dichotomy. I've worked for years on changing and making the financial system more just. And we have a lot of campaigners who are still focused on that. But we don't need to choose between the financial system of the future and the financial system of today. We can campaign on both of those things and ensure that we transition to something that supports a greater good for more people. Lastly, we're not interested in a semantic debate about efficiency. This word can mean different things to different people, and to the Bitcoin community, it means a certain thing. We understand that. But again, what we're concerned about is carbon emissions. So at this point, you're thinking, I'm a Solana dev. I'm a Solana user. What does this have to do with me? Why is this guy talking about Bitcoin at Breakpoint? But what we all have in common is we share this planet. And this planet is in peril because of carbon emissions. You're all familiar with the situation we're in. Look around you. Atmospheric concentration of carbon has been rapidly increasing in recent years. As a result of more carbon in the environment, global air surface temperatures have been climbing, and we're shattering records every year. This past year was the warmest summer on record. And what's the consequence of a warmer world? Wildfires, droughts, floods, massive biodiversity loss, and extinction at a rapid rate, all because we're putting more carbon in the atmosphere. Now, I came to Breakpoint because I believe blockchain has an application in fixing this problem. And I've been really inspired by a lot of the conversations I've had with people who are also concerned about this and are developing on the Solana chain. And I need your help. Blockchain, as I said, is going to be a part of the future that we're building. So we get to choose, and we have to choose, for it to be a force for greater good. There are a couple of days left in the conference. I'm going to continue to be here. My hope is that you'll come up to me, share your ideas, suggestions, push back where you think I'm wrong. And I hope that we can find fit-for-purpose blockchain applications that also promote climate progress. I'll also be tonight at the Solana Refi event at 7 o'clock. So for those of you who are available to make it out to that event, please come out, talk to me. And let's not let the conversation stop here in Amsterdam. Feel free to email. Scan the QR code to check out what our campaign is actually about. Follow us on Twitter at Greenpeace USA or at my Twitter handle, Josh D. Archer. And get the word out there, because we need people who are working on blockchain and concerned about the climate to get others involved in this effort. I need your help. I hope you'll join me. And thank you again to the Solana Foundation for inviting Greenpeace to be a part of this stage. So inspired by all of you. Thank you.